Watch me throw my brother.
What's up, it's your boy Shelin. Today I'm gonna go over my EDM melodic track template. So it's actually based on a cymatics project, but I made a few changes and honestly it really sounds much more original, but I'm sure you're gonna learn very interesting things. So what's interesting with the 808 is that I kept it very simple. It's an audio sample and there's no pitching going on, so it's basically the same note except at one specific moment of the track. So in this audio sample, there's a pitch movement and it's actually done directly on the audio sample. I'm not using any synth or anything like that. And what I'm doing is that I go in the envelope of the audio sample. So it's here and you need to click here. And then there you go to the clip and then transposition modulation here. And there you can control the pitching. So the cool thing is that you can do that on any types of sample, 808 or anything else, but you need to pay attention to the sound quality, which can change a lot. So the top kick is actually very clicky, it doesn't have lots of low end, and the idea is to have the 808 taking care of the low end and the top kick taking care of the mids and the highs. And together they sound like this. So the perks really add to the groove and it fills up the empty spaces. Then I have a pad which you can't really hear, but it adds to the mix and fills up the frequencies. And it's a preset from Nexus called Soft Orchestra. So the chords were very important in this song, so they were really put at the very front of the mix. So there are 3 layers to the chords and it's basically the same MIDI that's duplicated. So the first is a preset from Cymatics. It's a mix of sinus and pulse waves, oscillators, and it gives a sawish type of sound and fills up the highs. The second is a very similar preset and this one I used to fill the mids. And finally, with the third one, the idea was to fill up the lows, and I also use EQ8 to cut the highs. So the Vox are super fun to use because you can get really creative with that, and you can do pretty much whatever you want. So here there's a hit, which is just a very short vocal sample. And the rhythm is given with the filter delay from Ableton Live. Next you have a layer of 3 words put together which make it sound like a crowd screaming. So the first layer is in the middle. Then there's another layer on the left. And the final layer on the right. So the funny thing is that the third layer doesn't even say hey, it says something completely different. Then a very subtle ARP sound. The preset is called PL Spacer, it's made by 7 Skies and you can find it in Serum. So the lead took me quite some time to get right because it's an important part of this song. Let's listen. It's made of several layers and each layer has a space within the whole thing. So the first layer is actually just a saw wave that I put in mono by clicking the button just below here, and I use the legato to give it some movement. So I kept it dead at the center. So the second layer is much more stereo. Again, a preset that's included in Serum. The third layer, again a stereo one, which is more on the right, and it sounds like a super saw, and it's a preset in Serum. And the third layer is really a crazy sound that's really bouncing from left to right and takes up a lot of space. And it kind of gives some character to the sound and some movement. So the idea is that the stacks take up some space from mono to stereo, but they also take some space on the frequency spectrum, so from high to the mids. And to make them sound like a cohesive lead, you really have to compress them step by step with saturation, multiband compression, compressors, etc. Which is what I did here on this long master chain. I also use the side chain, which adds to the compression effect, because on one side you make the kick and the snare come out of the mix, and on the other side, by side chaining them, the sounds start to stick together more. It's something you need to try for yourself and you will hear it. We went through all the main parts of the song. If you have any questions, just drop a comment below and I will try my best to answer it. And if you need a template, just email me and let me know if you have any requests for next time. Peace.